What would you tell people to go with in a game like this to make a bit of money?
It's funny if you're just going off the trends of the World Cup so far, and you guys know in studio, this is something I've been betting on. It's like death taxes both teams to score has been something that's been hitting in the round of 16. I mean, is it, you could say, how could this continue to happen? I think it's going to happen with France and Sweden. I'm not as sure about Mexico, Ecuador, but what I'm saying is I don't think you're always going to get the price that we have right now. So right now it's minus 118 for both teams to score. This has just become a very, very popular bet as casual Americans start to bet on the World Cup and soccer for the first time. I do think by the time we have kickoff, this will be closer to minus 140, minus 150, just the way momentum of sports books have worked. So as far as an act now play, if that's something you're interested in, I do think it's worth getting on today. And then as far as everything else, my gut reaction was maybe it's time to go for unders, right? Under 2.5 goals. Now I feel like a lot of the public is going to think Haaland versus Finney, and everyone loves to bet on overs, right? So I don't think that's necessarily something you have to take right now. I think the price could get a little bit better the closer we do get to that kickoff. But what I will say is looking at a Brazil late goal versus Japan and looking at that Haaland late goal in this matchup that we just saw, not to take away from them, but I do think those are inflating some of these matchups who have ended in regulation 1-1. So I'm not a big unders girl. My saying is unders are for losers, but I do think for this specific matchup, the price we're going to get after all the goals we have seen, it might be worth taking a shot now.
Mackenzie, what about, I'm interested with what you mentioned about the late goals there, because it is a theme, isn't it? Is that good value when you bet on a specific time in the match that you see the goals predicted to be scored? Like if you bet in the last 15 minutes of a game, can you make some good money there?
You can. And the first thing I actually looked at when I went to the sports books for this game is for the highest goal scoring half to be the second half, because I feel like for Brazil specifically, I think we see them just turn it on in the second half, but just in general with the round of 16 so far, you're definitely seeing more action, more momentum in that second half. Right now, that's plus 105. I think that's a great bet to take at this point. I don't think it will stay at plus money. I'm sure we'll see that closer to minus 115 based off the trends and based off the games we will see before this game kicks off. So I know you guys have been talking about it as well, just Brazil and the way that this attack really lights up in the second half. I think plus 105 for the second half to be the highest scoring half is a great play.
What are the odds for Paraguay to advance in this game?
They about match up with the way you guys are talking about them. Honestly, odds makers are a little more optimistic than the way you guys are talking about this team. God damn. I'm like, wow, there is really no chance here. So obviously with games like this, France is minus 550 to win. That's not exactly a playable number on its own. So you have to get creative, and we've had to get creative through group stages as well. And usually when you see such a one-sided game, I would focus on first half player props, but I don't think we're going to see, players get pulled in a knockout stage game the way we could in the group stage. So a few different ways to get creative. One of the bets I saw on BetMGM that I'm stunned number I'm seeing, France to win and a combined over 2.5 goals for the game. I think France can get over this on their own, as they've done literally every single game so far in the World Cup, scoring 3 goals. And it's minus 155. Is that a fabulous number? No. Do I feel like that's a really, really awesome bet that I think should probably be closer to minus 200? Yeah. And you can parlay that with things if you want to. And a more plus money way to look at France to dominate this game is to just bet France to win both halves here at plus 120 if you think they can score early and then score again in the second half. Obviously, looking for multiple goals would be the ideal situation. But again, plus money, that's at plus 140 right now. I'm seeing it already come down on some books. So those are 2 act now prices I would probably take right now. And then if you're looking at the Paraguay side, you want some version of money on them. Maybe you're a fan of the Cinderella story. What I've noticed with some of these teams, some of these heavy underdogs, is their shot count is still up pretty high. Not shots on goal, not shots on target, not goals, but they're, shoot your shot towards the end of that second half here. You're seeing double digits from Sweden. You saw it from Ivory Coast when they were down. So once that market opens up, it isn't exactly open yet. Just looking at Paraguay in these quote unquote garbage time minutes, maybe at the end of the game when they're down, just seeing the shots, knowing what they'd have to do. That's probably the only over I'd be taking for that team.
See, the atmosphere obviously is a huge factor, but what are the bookies saying? Who's the favorite in this game with the early lines?
Yeah, they have Mexico as home underdogs, and obviously that makes sense, but they're really feeling confident about about England. England's plus 110 to win this game. I'm not so sure I want to bet on that and against Mexico right now. I know I sound like a broken record, but both teams to score is minus 110 right now. You guys talked about the chaos. I don't see a version of Mexico not scoring in the Azteca, and I do see England potentially with late goals again. You can bet the second half to have the most goals, but as you guys mentioned, that heat, the second half, that worries me a little bit. One long shot, like plus 1200 long shot I was looking at on BetMGM is England to win from behind. So just meaning similar to what they did today. Obviously, that's a bit of recency bias, but when you're talking about Mexico playing a home game, used to the climate, used to, the altitude, all of it, it's not insane to think Mexico could score first at plus 130 and England has to fight back. Harry Kane's prices haven't come out yet. The stars continue to shine. I talked about in the group stage, round of 32 seems to be proving very, very similar. Getting Harry Kane, hopefully he's going to be minus 140, minus 150. After that, I probably wouldn't play it, but death tax is Harry Kane to score a goal. Death tax is both teams to score.
Yeah, the only thing, Mexico hasn't conceded a goal in 4 games, so you do see them conceding in this one against England.
A lot of averages, right?
I think it's about time. I'm in on trends, but I'm also in on there's another end to the bell curve. It'd be statistically impressive to continue to keep clean sheet after clean sheet. And this is obviously going to be the most talent they've played, maybe not the most impressive team in our eyes technically, but as far as the ceiling and potential and strikers, I think this is going to be probably the game that they start to concede. And you can take the under 2.5 right now. It is juice to the under. So that's odds makers saying they think this will probably be 2 goals in regulation. I wouldn't hate to bet on the regulation tie. That's around plus 220. Maybe this is kind of a slugfest of some sort. Maybe we see a 1-1 draw and we have to go into, some extra time here.
Mackenzie, a little curveball for you. What's a 3-0 England? I'm looking to take it.
3-0 England.
3-0.
Let's see. We can go to correct scores.
Why, you thinking of betting that, Troy?
Absolutely.
He beats them on one hand and then bets on the other hand.
Called being English. No pressure.
Not seeing. I see ties. I see. Here we go.
Exact
Please hold.
score.
Exact score.
You know
Where
what I
is
like
it? I'm
lately?
looking
I
at
like
all
the
their
late
others.
goals.
They don't have it out right now.
Do I have it out?
4, 2, 4.
Shambles.
Yeah, it's pretty fresh, but it'll probably be like plus 500 or something. Plus 600.
I'll take that.
I mean,
I'll take 20 on that.
3-0?
20 on that.
I'll take 20 on that. Look, I think as well, when you're looking at Mexico, yes, they've done great so far. Yes, the Azteca. I hear all of that. Are we saying South Africa, South Korea, Czechia, and Ecuador are good teams? Are we saying they're on the level of England?
Ecuador is a good team, not a level of England. Ecuador, my criticism of them was exactly what's happened to them, the lack of a goal scorer and a striker.
Yep.
The rest of the team was good, but they're not going to create many chances to score goals, which is what their World Cup has been. If you realistically, if I look at both performances from both nations, they are very similar. Mexico have not been as convincing as England haven't been as convincing. So for performances from where they both are, I don't think
Watch the last game?
I watched Mexico the last game, yes, but still we could say the same thing about England against Croatia. If you want to take it into little
The
bits.
first half were terrible. The second half were a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you could take it either ways, but I wouldn't say there's much between both teams' performances of what we've seen.
Hey, Mackenzie, 3-0. Stick me 20 on. Let's go, boys.
England to win by exactly 3 goals is plus 1250.
Oh, better odds than you thought.
Disneyland is coming, kids. Let's go.